Alright guys, we're here with Chris Evans at Triumph, here at the IMS show. We're going to go on the Scrambler 1200 EXC. We're going to get some info beforehand, and I have a very knowledgeable person right here, Chris, so we're going to ask him a couple questions. He's going to give us the best answer to the best of his ability, alright?
Absolutely.
Alright, Chris. So, what is this bike's top speed?
Top speed, it varies on that. It's probably not going to be based about top speed. This is more of an adventure bike for off-road, so you're not going to be going 100 plus miles per hour off-road. And in all reality, it is a bike that can do 120 plus miles per hour. But if you're utilizing it as a dirt bike or anywhere on the roads, you're not going to be ever going there. As for horsepower, it's 89 horsepower, roughly almost 90, and about almost 80 foot-pounds, a little over 80 foot-pounds of torque. So it's got plenty of power, plenty of horsepower, top end. But it is not a race bike by far. It is a adventure bike that is made to go off-road and really do some jumps and actually handle the berms. The design of the Scrambler 1200 XE is really the XE, which we're looking at here, is the one that has the gold forks. The XC and the XE, even though this one has gold forks, is the exact same suspension. The only reason with the gold forks is just color. But it does have 1 inch more travel on the XE, so it's a taller bike. Also, on the XE, it has a little bit longer swing arm, and that is for stability. So when you're actually going off-road and coming down from those jumps, so you don't, it prevents you from bottoming out the bike and actually damaging the motorcycle or crashing and hurting yourself. That's really it. I mean, it goes after, there's not really much in the way of bikes out there similar to it. People compare it, not Triumph, but people compare it to, say, like the Ducati Scrambler Desert Sled, some of the other dirt bikes. After that, you go into adventure, more like the Tigers here, and it's a class of its own. In all true opinion, it's a class of its own. It is a overpowered, superpowered dirt bike that you can comfortably commute on, run anywhere. So you can ride it to the trail and then do the trail all day long and then come back and still ride home perfectly comfortable. But any other questions?
Yeah, what's the seat height on this bike?
Seat height is, this is about almost, if I remember correctly off the top of my head, it's around 34 inches, 34 and a half. Now it's about 34. So it's not really that tall, and you want to have this height, like I was saying, so that way the bike is going to be a little bit higher on the XE. It is an inch lower if you go to the XC. Same suspension, it's just that is going to be more set up for road use that can do off-road. This gives you a lot more capability off-road for jumps and dirt, and it's a good height. Okay,
and you said you own these bikes? What made you choose this bike over, let's say, a Tiger or like a 900 Scrambler?
Sure, I actually don't own one now. I did own one.
Okay.
So in 2020, when this bike first came out, I test rode it with the team that rode it with Triumph North America, and we went down the Borrego Springs and did some actual, not heavy aggressive dirt, but we did some more compact dirt for Borrego Springs and testing. I fell in love with it. I thought it was a really fun bike. I'm not a dirt bike guy by far, but I had fun. It was very capable and easy to ride. Even for me, with my little experience riding in the dirt, I was more than adequately riding comfortably on the bike. So then when I came back, I actually really enjoyed the bike, and I wanted something that was going to be fun. I'm used to supermotos, racing for canyons, so I wanted something I could buy that had the power and the comfort I wanted, where I could put a small or large side bag with it, and I could change my tires to some slicks to blast through the canyons, have a lot of fun, and that's what I did. I had it for a little over a year, and now I have a Tiger 900 GT Pro. That's more versatile for what I was looking for me, personally, because everybody has their own experience. Now I ride that, and I love that bike to death. I've had it for now almost 2 years.
Alright, so compared to the other bikes in your lineup, compared to the Tigers, the Triumphs, the other Bonnevilles, would you say this is the most usable and fun bike in the lineup?
No, I would say all of them are, and the reason being is all of them do exactly what they were intended to do very well. There is no bad bike if you're using it what it was designed for. So if you're looking for something more dirt oriented and you want to get a little bit more aggressive, you're not going to do any longer distance touring, so you don't need the luggage capacity or any of that. That's where this would come in. This is your bike. Like I said, you ride to your trail, ride to your canyon, and you just go, you blast. You look at Ernie Vigil, for instance, that came in, I believe, 5th place in the Baja 1000 on this particular bike, on a Scrambler 1200 XE. That was very low modified. We helped him build that motorcycle, and he did all the rest of the modification himself. That too.
Okay.
And so I expect mine out similar to his. Even though I'm not doing off-road, but it's cool to have something and someone who races these. So this is a very capable bike. If you're looking for something more geared for longer distance adventure riding, that's where the Tiger comes in. Any of the Tigers, because they will have, the Tigers are really well versed and have certain price points for everybody, a comfortable price point for everybody. They will, any of them, Tigers will start like the 660 that is coming out all the way over there, which is going to start about $9,300, and then it goes all the way to the 1200, which will be coming back next year. So there's a price point for everybody, and the only difference in those price points is they're all great bikes, is different options and accessories of what it's capable of doing. Creature comforts features that you like, heated grips, center stands, side stands, cruise control, different bag setups, different computers, different mapping, all that stuff. So if you ever ask us, especially at our shop, come on in and we'll gladly ask you questions, and that way you tell us as truthful or best of your knowledge you can on what you're looking to do, and we'll guide you to a bike that we feel will be good for you. But before we'll say, yeah, that's your definitive answer of bike you got to buy, we'll let you ride it and let you decide for yourself. We are not the ones going to be riding it for you, so you have to decide what bike works for you.
And you're in some Southern California Motorcycles in Brea?
Yes,
I actually used to work down the street on Palm and Lambert.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, I've been to a couple of you guys' demo days. I always really like how you guys like handle stuff. You're not too aggressive, you're not pushy, but you do let people figure stuff out for themselves with a gentle guidance towards the right bike.
And exactly, and that's our whole purpose at our dealership at Southern California Motorcycles, is we want people to want their motorcycle. We can't decide what's best for you. What we can do is, for our skills and we have a small staff, and that's intentional. Our staff is very skilled, very knowledgeable, and trained with all the manufacturers that we sell. So not only Triumph, but every manufacturer that we promote. And we want to make sure that that person that is in that showroom is knowledgeable about every bike, not just the one that he or she likes. We want to make sure that they're well versed, so that way we can answer any of your question to help guide you to find your next motorcycle. And then the best way, hop on a bike, take one for a ride. We have pretty much every bike set up as a demo, so you can take it out and ride.
So, now that you mentioned, I do remember Robert. He's the guy that does the Royal Enfield and the used motorcycle stuff. I do remember
here today too. He's over at Royal.
Yeah, because I remember I was looking to buy the GT650 when it came out. I fell in love with the bike when it came out, and I liked how when I showed up, I'm like, hey, I'm kind of thinking about doing this bike, but I don't have the footage I record. It's like, oh, you can take a bike and record more footage if you want. Because I like recording the footage and reviewing it later, so then I'm not looking at stuff through rose-colored glasses. I can see objectively how the acceleration was, how the braking was, and that's what I'm trying to do today. Take out this bike and see how it feels, and then look back later and say, okay, well, when I was riding it, I just felt the excitement, but now I can see maybe this bike is better suited for this or that, like what you said. There's different levels of Triumph, there's different choices for different people. One last question before I go.
Sure.
How tall are you?
I'm maybe about 5, I'm a little under 5'10", so like 5'9".
Right, so I'm also 5'10". It doesn't look like this bike is like horrendously tall. Like I tried a Tenere 700 the other day, and I was looking at it, and it was almost above my hip, to the point where I thought I might have to have somebody help me on the bike. This bike looks a lot more approachable. You're my height, so I'm hoping we're gonna have a good time. And
side saddle, the best way to do is drop your leg to the left. When you scroll over, that way you can then scroll over to slide saddle to the right, and that'll help you get on and off the bike to get your side stand up comfortably, and then you start her up and you go for a ride. You'll have fun.
All right.
The only thing that's the height of any tall adventure bike, because like I said, I'm 5'9", and I ride even some of the highest bikes out there, like the 1200s or Ducati Hypermotor and stuff, that's got a 35, almost 36 inch seat height, and I'm 4 inches off the ground for both my feet. So you got to be within your comfort, of course, and we want to make sure everyone's comfortable, because if you don't feel comfortable, well, then don't ride it. That's not wise for you to ride something you don't feel comfortable. So
all right,
you go have fun.
Thank you so much, Chris. Thank you for all the info.
We'll see you when you get back.
All right, how do you turn it on?
So when you get onto the bike, so it's a keyless system. The key's in the bike right now.
Okay.
Normally you would keep it in your pocket, or you could leave it there. It locks into the bike. So you turn that up on the right. So this one goes up. That turns on your dash. And you push down. That'll engage the ignition to get everything start pumping, and all you do is you pull your clutch and make sure it's not in gear, it's in neutral, good. And you put all your gear, and you're good to go.
Awesome. And
these dashes will switch over to something a little bit more useful. People play with them all the time.
So this has like rider modes, ABS, lean sensitive traction control and everything?
Correct.
Everything, like all the bells and whistles.
And there's a lot of settings that we can spend almost an hour going over every setting that's on this bike. So for right now, I just want you to have fun. The modes, to switch the modes, to pop up here, you're on Sport, which is the snappiest throttle response. So we'll leave you there.
And how do I change those?
What's that?
How do I change those?
So you hit mode, and then you use this joystick to go up or down to a different mode, like road, and just push this in as an enter key, and it'll tie it to road. So now it's set for rain. So I accidentally hit that one, go down a road, and you'll see the little pavement instead of road. So hit menu, throw it on what you want. When you want it, just jump. So when you want it, just push it in, push the button here, the joystick with the checkbox in as your enter key, and it'll tie it right there, and you'll be safe to go.
Awesome. We're gonna keep it in rain mode just so we get out of the parking lot, then we'll let it give it to me.
You'll really feel the snappiness because you won't have the distance to go to actually move.
Okay, so yeah, like, until we get out of the parking lot, we're gonna keep it in rain mode just to be safe.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you so much, Chris.
You're welcome.
We'll see you in a little bit.
All right, so like I told Chris, we're going to keep it in rain mode so we can get out of the parking lot because there are a lot of pedestrians and we don't want to hit anybody. He said it's not going to be as snappy as when we put it in road mode or race mode, but it already does feel kind of snappy. Oh my God. You can feel all the power down low. And we're only at like 2,000 RPM. 3,000 RPM seems to be where I'm getting most of the power. Let me see if I can figure out how to get out of this parking lot. There we go. Okay, yeah. This bike has a lot of snap even in rain mode. It feels a little bit like a supermoto. And look, more Triumphs. Brah, brah. Oh. Ah. I'm already messing up and almost hitting a truck on a rented bike. So, like he said, this is going to be the most fun bike out of the lineup. He does have to say a lot of stuff because, you know, dealership salespeople speak is one thing. He can't tell me one thing that might make another bike look bad. All I know for sure is right now, the way I see these type of bikes, I'm never going to take this off-road. I'm never going to go touring on a 1200. So I just feel like it has a lot of down-low power that is very usable on the street. So to me this, oh wow, that front brake is snappy. So to me, I'm not looking at this as an adventure bike or even a dual sport bike or off-road bike. I'm looking at it as a really big hooligan bike. This is a 1200cc engine, which is what I'm most comfortable with going off my Sportsters and my Dyna. I like the bigger engines. I like having the bikes be a little bit more aggressive. So we put her in road mode right now. Let's see what else. What are the other options? I think this is... Okay, so we just disabled ABS, traction control. I'm guessing wheelie control, launch control. We just took off. Oh my God! Bro, I was in third gear! I could have taken you! Oh, wow. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that was a 114, 117 CVO probably. That was one of Harley's new Milwaukee 8 engines. As you can see, this bike kept up with it in third gear. We're already hitting 70 miles on the street. I have no idea where I'm going. I don't know where the route is, actually. This might be another 3-hour tour like we took at the IMS Expo back in 2019. And there's the traffic. So, I'm a big proponent for cruisers and touring type motorcycles, but I like a touring type motorcycle that can handle the curves, that can handle the whatever you throw at it. So, my bike of choice right now is the Dyna. Any year dyno will be good, except for the white glides. I don't like the front end on them. I don't like the skinny tire on them. So try to stay away from them. That is an awesome bike, but depending on your size, that might be a little too heavy for you. It might be too cumbersome, and you won't be able to push it the way you'll be able to put something like this. So I like this. I like the seat. It's not too hard. It's not too soft. It's not sunken into the bike. It's giving me a bit of an attack position. The throttle's snappy. The brakes are great in comparison to a Harley. I may be in the middle of these guys' group ride. Oh well. I'm not used to these metric style turn signals. Oh my god. I know someone in the comments is going to make fun of me for saying oh my god, because that's what I say all the time. Oh, this is where we're at. I used to be an EMT down here, so I'm very familiar with this hospital. Anyway. Wow. So, this bike has about 90 to 80 something horsepower. Way more than my Dyna. It all comes down to really low, like my Dyna. But it is incredibly smooth. I believe there's a 270 crank as opposed to like a 180 or 360 crank, which are kind of boring. So this does have a bit of more of a growl in the bottom end. It does sound a bit more like a Harley than a metric bike. Ha! Do that on your freaking bagger. So that was fun, but these bunny mirrors are a little bit too in the way. Perfectly steady. My hands are off the whip bars. I'm probably going to get in trouble for that as soon as somebody reviews my video. But this bike is so snappy, it's so powerful, and it's so smooth. I do feel a bit of heat coming from the engine on my left calf and on my right calf. And come over here because this looks like the route. Oh shit. Lowrider S. That's normally what I ride, a lowrider, not the brand new S, not the S version from my year. It's only an 88-inch engine, which is about 1450 cc or something like that. There's a 1200 cc bike. Already, after like 5 minutes of riding, I can tell I'm having a lot more fun on this bike than on my Dyna, and it is actually going to be a little bit sad going back. So we're giving a lot of dealer spick from Chris, because obviously that's his job. He has to say the right words. He has to say the right corporate things. But that's okay, because you can still see the excitement in his voice. And like he said, he owned one of these bikes. And honestly, like, I feel like I could take this off-road. I've never been off-road. I don't know what I should expect. I do like the green. I like the gold. I believe Triumph's, their best color has always been that military green that they have on this and one of the Thruxtons. Oh my god. Yeah, this pulls like nothing else. It's funny, I'm normally a Harley rider. Now that I'm a Triumph, the only thing I'm seeing on the road are other Harley riders. So the other guy, he tried racing me a little bit. This bike kept up more than perfectly. I think we were still on rain mode when we tried keeping up with him. We may have already changed it over to sports mode or whatever this is. So currently we're riding with no traction control, no ABS, I think no launch control, no wheelie control, nothing. This is just the engine that is snappiest, and I do feel it every time I twist the throttle. I feel the weight go off the front wheel and try to go to the back wheel. I'm not going to pop a wheelie on this bike right now because I can't afford it, and I don't want to damage something that I don't own. But if you're living in California, I feel like this bike would be great. It's comfortable for longer distances because, you know, everything's far here in California. It's fun enough to take down a curvy mountain road. It's good enough to go down as a commuter every day. This feels great. You see that? That front brake is powerful. I wonder if there's any way to set... Oh, yeah. You can set the front suspension for rebound and dampening, I believe. I don't know where the lines are. Where am I going? Maybe like a V-Strom. It feels perfectly fine standing up. I can reach the bars no problem. My leg does touch the exhaust a little more than I wanted to, but even though it's been ridden all day, I don't feel a lot of heat coming from the exhaust. It just feels really good. Okay, so I'm making it right here. So, anybody who's seen my channel has seen that I am not really into ADB bikes. I am not into metric bikes. I really like cruisers. I like American V-twin engines. I've owned a lot of bikes, but cruisers and V-twins have always been kind of like where I revert to. And now I have my Dyna, which is my aspirational one. I'm not really a fan of twin-cylinder bikes because they're usually really boring engines. This bike does not feel boring in the least bit. It feels a little bit rougher, and that's not the right word to say, but it is a little bit rougher than most other twins. It growls more than whines, and it feels like it has a lot of usable power. But so you guys might be wondering, why am I a Triumph? Why am I an adventure dual sport bike if that's not my bread and butter? That's not what I'm into. That's not what I came here for. Well, on Friday night, I went to a... Hey! Sportster! That is my brand new favorite Harley Davidson. So, I went to a screening of the new CTXP episode and a live recording of the High Side Low Side podcast. I stepped aside during intermission to smoke a cigarette because it was a really long event, and I couldn't find a lighter, so I happened to speak to somebody, ask for a lighter. That person happened to be Rob, which is, I think, general manager or somebody in charge of this IMS Triumph event. He's all the way from Cincinnati, came all the way to California, had to trailer a couple bikes, and he told me, if you come down to the Triumph tent tomorrow, on this weekend, I will give you a chance to ride one of the bikes a little bit longer than the predetermined route. Because I told him I want to become a motorcycle, a motoblogger. I want to do more things with motorcycles. So he kind of gave me free reign. I'm still sticking to the route for the most part because this is the first ride I'm doing, and I don't want to get lost again because I've done that before and I do that all the time. But it all started with a lighter. And I was able to talk to Chris Evans, who's employee down at SoCal Motorcycles, which I've been to a couple times. I love the feeling of their dealership. And hopefully this can lead to some better things in the future. I know it sounds like I'm brown-nosing, and I kind of am, but I'm really glad that these people decided to take a chance on me and give me all the extra attention that they don't normally give people. Oh my god, that is so flickable. From where I'm sitting, from what I'm feeling, this engine does feel a lot like a V-twin, and I think that's down to the 270-degree crank. I tried passing it, but there was some debris on the road, and I didn't want to low-side the bike. I think it's down to a 270-degree crank, which gives it a meatier bottom end and a better growl. Oh, I know this bike wants to wheelie. I know it wants to wheelie so bad. Sportster Espero's like right on my tail. Demo route. Oh, Triumph. And we can take this. So this still is a dual sport bike, not enduro bike. I want to say it's like a 70-30 dual sport off-road bike, adventure bike. It is not one of the more off-road capable or more touring capable bikes. It's kind of just like its own thing, like the guy said. So it does kind of run out of legs, up about 5,000 RPM in the lower gears, which is fine because that's kind of what you expect from this bike. But look at that. Look how smooth it is. Oh, wow. It's so... Okay, so I'm a big dude. I'm like 250-ish, 260-ish, depending on the day, right? So, if I want to go fast, most naked bikes or sports bikes aren't really set up for my weight and size. The suspension's a little off. You can tell that the bike's not meant to carry somebody as heavy as I am. So it always feels a little weird. But today, I'm riding an adventure bike, and it is the first adventure bike that I've ridden that actually feels adventurous. I tried the NRA 700 a couple times. I tried the Versus 650 a couple times. Those bikes are like, middleweight naked adventure bikes, but this bike feels a hell of a lot better. It feels a lot more usable on the street. It feels a lot more livable day to day. I really wish I could have taken it on the freeway, but I don't want to burn any bridges right now. Hopefully, I'll get another chance to talk down to the guys at SoCal Motorcycles for a longer review. But for now, we're about to go back. This is a really fun bike. I don't really have much complaints other than the front brake. Since I'm used to riding Harleys and I'm used to having like these really horrible front suspensions, anytime I tap the front brake, I feel like the whole bike's going to buckle out from under me. And that's just because that's kind of what I'm used to on my bike. That I have to like squeeze a handful of lever to stop. And if I try doing that here, the bike kind of like goes down a little too hard. See? It almost feels like the bike's trying to do an endo every time I do that. Alright, we're going to go back to Triumph and try out another bike. Hopefully the line isn't too long now. I want to say we're going to try the Trident. I want to try one of the triples. Triumph is known for their twins, but I do have some interesting history with Triumph triples. I could do that jump. If my wife was here, she'd be like, no, you can't. I can already hear her voice in my head. Ooh, I think I set out the rear tire a little bit. The KLX 300. It's my least favorite bike. Okay, so Triumph. Oh my god. Yeah, that throttle in sports mode is aggressive. It wants to be on. It just wants to be off. Let's just change that to. Yeah, it won't let me change it. I don't know what I did, but we're in the wrong mode for this right now. That was Shade Tree Surgeon. It's not. It's just a hairy dude. Look at all these pedestrians. She ride a little electric bike. I'm pretty sure I could smoke those kids on a race. Oh, this bike is fun. Okay, so keyless fob, like the guy said, he's had these cool, really gold upside down forks with some guards in case you're going off-roader. Brembo calipers front, Brembo master cylinder, high exhaust, Öhlins rear shocks. That's actually kind of hot. This isn't too hot. This is, but I didn't feel like I was going to get burned on this. I feel bad for a passenger though. Alright, good. Well, that's it.